It started with Pong, a game that I constantly forget started in arcades. Because, I mean, people in the 70s left their houses and spent money to play this shit. What a time to be alive. Pong did so well, entire companies made their entire identities this new arcade video game shit, like Midway, Williams, and Taito. But then Taito made a game called Space Invaders, and it was pretty cool. But to the average person from the 70s, this was the pinnacle of tech. It was the craziest shit they've never seen. So other companies took note about how much consumers love seeing new, game-changing technology put into action. So companies ripped off the game and barely changed anything. And one of these ripoffs was called Galaxian, made by Namco, and it was Space Invaders, but in color, and had actual moving sprites. Shit could tween. And then, with those games, we hit the golden age. We got shit I actually go back to more than once a year. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Missile Command. But these games were hard as balls, and made to make you lose. But, you get far enough to not call it bullshit, so you give it more quarters. And during this time, everyone and their mom hung out at arcades. It was like the place to be. And quite frankly, if you own an arcade, business is booming. And these companies were so good at putting out arcade games, no one could buy any of them, because every arcade owned 3.5 Donkey Kong cabinets. And real quick, as a quick note, in this point in the timeline, it's 1981, and I just wanted to say Galaga came out this year, and it's my favorite arcade game. But then in 83, when home consoles took a hit, arcades took a bit of a hit as well. Not as much as consoles, but you know, enough to mention it. But then, Nintendo fixed games forever. So we're back in business, baby. It's the 90s, Gramps. We play Mortal Kombat now. In the 90s was no longer arcade prime time, but we started getting 3D games like Virtua Racer, Gauntlet Legends, and more. Arcades have always been on a downhill ever since, but go look for local arcades around you. They are the most fun shit you will ever do. Anyway, buy it, subscribe.